Hi, Professor. Today I'm going to be talking about healthy food access in East LA. To start off more broadly in the topic of obesity, which was kind of the focus in a lot of the studies, healthy food access in relation to skyrocketing obesity rates. Obesity has been an epidemic worldwide for a while now. And then in the U.S., it's a big issue as well. There's about, I think about like 60% of the adult population is like overweight or obese, and I think it's like 30 to 40% of adolescent population as well. Um, Either way, it's something that affects a lot of people. I've personally been affected by it as someone who has been obese and overweight their whole life, struggled to figure out nutrition and proper eating. That's what interested me in this topic, and I think it's really important right now too, especially because it's something that we're bombarded with every day, like fast food advertisements. There's always fast food places driving around. So I think it's really important to educate yourself and learn about the dangers of that. And I think it's important too in certain areas, especially like that's what interested me about East LA is because it's in a low income area that is in one of the articles that said it was experiencing the highest rate of obesity in Los Angeles. So I found that really intriguing, and that's what interested me in that topic. And then that's what interested me in that particular city. Um, and so the history and demographic of East Los Angeles is that it is a predominantly Hispanic area, historically low income, and currently still low income. It's I think it was about 80 between 80 and 90% Hispanic. And then with Hispanic people in relation to obesity, they are more likely to suffer from obesity related issues, health problems such as like high blood pressure and diabetes. Um, and then a key contemporary issue that was discussed in a lot of the articles. Well, there was two that I noticed. The first one being healthy food access in relation with like farmers markets and healthy food distribution programs, and they were talking about how in some of the articles it was mentioned how they were trying to do a healthy food distribution program in order to what do you call it? In order to get it cheaper in the stores for people, so that way when they were buying the food in the stores that they normally go to, it's at a cheaper price, and that helps people that can't necessarily go to a small tiny farmers market, like they need to go shopping and get it all done at once. It wasn't a super conclusive study. There was another one that was I thought a little bit more conclusive in the fact that it was talking about how key contemporary theory that was explored in my research and in these articles was that the amount of fast food accessibility in East Los Angeles. And one of the articles I thought was very interesting. It was saying that there was 190 food outlets in East Los Angeles. 93 of them were fast food restaurants, and 63% of those were within walking distance from a school. And then, whereas there was only 62 grocery stores, with only 18% of them selling any good quality produce, which I thought was absolutely crazy because how are these people going to eat healthy if the stores don't even have it, you know? And then if you're a kid, you're right next to a school, your parents gonna pick you up and want to do something easy to feed you really quickly before, during, and after school even. So I thought that was very interesting. Um, the reflexivity or humanitarianism related to my ethnographic study, I would say would be that this is a very serious issue that I feel like is really important, not more important. I think it's also important to educate and make it easier for lower income areas to get healthy fast food, because I can only imagine how hard it is for someone who's working, really unpleasant jobs and all sorts of different things that they might not even want to do. They're trying to support their family, they have kids, they're very busy, and they're having to worry about food. And they're gonna want to do what's easiest and cheapest, and driving through McDonald's is gonna be a solution to that. And when you go to the store, a lot of the times, like my boyfriend lives in Baldwin Park, and when we go to the store, it's not, you don't always see the healthy stuff first. It's all of the like the junk, the easy stuff that you can quickly grab and go. Whereas the other stuff is there and it's good. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just not in a spot in the store where you can easily see it and people are in a rush. And then to synthesize key points with class materials, I related this to Shenshul and the community aspect of all of this. There was a few that talked about how they were mobilizing the community and educating the community together to bring about more healthy food options, to educate everyone about like healthy food access, and to hopefully like to try and get them while they're young, and to train like to teach the children like nutrition in order to help combat like the really bad childhood obesity problem. And then also Boulard, because he in his articles would talk about like racism and how a lot of community planning doesn't go on, so that a lot of stuff is just plopped down into communities, and it can have really adverse health effects. And it's not the same in the sense that it's not like an environmental hazard to the community, whereas it's something that they're choosing to go to. But I think that having so many like fast food areas in one location is gonna cause a lot of problems, because people are gonna want to go to that as opposed to something else, or as opposed to going to even the store, because if there's so many different places you can just cycle through all the time. And then I think future research would be needed into like I think there's so many different routes you can go with fast food and low income and like healthy food access. Some questions I would have would be like, why are there so many fast food places in one area? Why aren't there all the stores having healthy produce? That's good. Why are there some stores that don't have any produce? That's crazy to me. I feel like for research methods too, that you could do, what do you call it? You could do like a clinical study, maybe following like some families. I also think maybe doing some surveys of like adults, and then doing surveys of like kids, and then maybe also seeing like how advertisements affect that, and then also to discuss contribution of future research to a specific STS social science. I thought it would be interesting if it could a study could be done on like lower income children, and how advertisements on the TV psychologically have an impact and can lead to possibly obesity, or at least lead to people being more likely to make more unhealthy food choices. So yeah, that's my video. Thank you.